Now for those of you who don't like the long videos, you're not going to like this one because it's pretty long. But for those of you who like to sit down and watch the whole story unfold in front of you, then this is the one for you, because there was a lot happened through this morning and I tried to edit it in as best I could to keep things interesting without boring the life out of everybody. So here we go. Now I'm on a farm that's very local to me, and it's a lovely spring morning. The weather's nice at the minute, but you'll see in the video that it changes later on. Now I'm going to try and decoy some hooded crows, because there has been trouble in the past on this farm. I think it was the year before this I found a ewe that was lying sick in the field, and the crows had taken the opportunity to peck one of her eyes out and pulled at her fleece until there was wool strewn all over the place. Now the farmer did recover her, but I don't know how she fared afterwards. But before the lambs go out this year, I'm going to take the opportunity to try and reduce the numbers as much as I can. The little pop-up hide I'm using is one of the bush chair hides from bushwear.com. I've used this thing for years and even replaced the chair with something more comfortable when it broke one day. And I'm busy here draping the hide with a 2-ply stealth camo net, which I've added little pieces of raffia grass to, something I seen in one of Chris Green's pigeon decoying videos, which helps the whole thing blend into the hedge in the background much better. Oh, the rifle slip, if you're interested, was one of the Garland's tactical versions, I think it was. It worked well for years until the zip broke one day, so I had to replace it and got one of the AIM Field Sports FT drag bags, which was absolutely brilliant to tell you the truth. And the backpack is an Army Surplus NI patrol pack or day pack, which I've added a few extra pouches to the front of it. It's not overly big, but it carries everything I need for a morning's decoying for crows and that. My setup's quite simple, as you can see. I have a dead crow which I've set up on a little wire cradle that helps it stand on its own 2 feet and makes it look quite realistic. And I use a dead rabbit as bait, and I split it open and throw the guts out to try and make it look as if a fox or that had killed it the night before and abandoned it. I've also used white pieces of bread in the past, but you have to be pretty quick getting the shot off, as the birds like to land, grab a piece and fly off again. And also a fake nest with some delf eggs in it. The delf eggs are quite realistic, as I proved it by putting one in my mother's fridge one morning, who tried to hard boil it for my father's breakfast, but couldn't understand why she couldn't crack it open until my father pointed out the seam around the outside of the egg when it was being made. That went down quite a steam the next day, I'll tell you that. Now, this was filmed back in 2015, and how time flies, hey. So I have an old friend with me this morning, some of you may recognise. Yep, it's my old Theoben MFR. Gone but not forgotten. If I remember right at the time, she was pushing out 21 grains of Bisley Magnum at about 860 feet per second, so she was quite a potent wee article. The scope was a Meopta 4-16 by 44 tactical. It was really a firearm scope, but it had really nice glass and a nice mil-dot crosshair. It took a wee while, but a hooded crow finally landed, probably at about 60 yards, and it looked quite calm, so I let it walk its way towards the bait, hoping it would get within about 45-40 yards, which the bait is at, and I could have a dead-on hold for the shot. But all of a sudden I started getting very suspicious, as you can see, and then before I managed to get the shot off, he decided to clear off. I admit I had been too hesitant with the shot, but something obviously had spooked him, but I didn't know what until this boy landed. Yep, it was a buzzard, and that was obviously what was making the hooded crow very uneasy to stay on the ground. But he grabbed one of the rabbit legs and flew off with it. Then these two hooded crows took their opportunity to land, and they weren't happy. But as soon as one of the birds rounded the corner and saw the action camera, it spooked the both of them. The camera's well enough hidden, but I do suspect now and again when the birds see the little black round lens that they maybe mistake it for an eye, which seems to spook them. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. But in this case, it definitely wasn't helping me. Though I do get some nice footage from it at times, as you'll see later on. Again, another brilliant opportunity. But, as the first time, he spooks, and this is why. Smack. I don't know if it's the same buzzard or not, but he does not like that hooded crow decoy. He hit that some thwack, and still can't understand why it hasn't flew off yet. I'd love to know what's going through his mind. The hooded crow in the background is just too far for my liking, especially now the breeze has got much stiffer. But I'll bide my time, and I'll look for a much easier opportunity. And of course, what's better than one buzzard, but two buzzards? This boy's landed probably about 20 yards in front of my hide, and his mate doesn't like the idea at all. He's found a nice easy meal in that rabbit, and he does not want to share it. He really wants to get that rabbit out the open, but it's too heavy for him to carry. But while all this is going on in the background, the crows are getting a little bolder and a little closer. I have my rangefinder with me, but it's very difficult getting an accurate reading through the camouflage netting without the bird seeing any movement. If I remember right, it was about 50 yards, and dialed the scope in for the shot. I aimed about 3/4 of an inch to the right for the wind, and let loose. The bird was well struck. He was struggling, but still on his feet. I quickly reloaded, and even though I thought the bird was definitely going down when he gave me another opportunity for a shot. I finished it. I'm going for heart and lung shots here, as the breeze is just too strong for headshots at this range. And sometimes they don't always go down on the spot with a heart and lung shot. Then Mr. Buzzard returns again. He must really like that rabbit. But he still hasn't figured out how to fly off with it. But the sight of him eating away at that rabbit seems to have spurred this hooded crow into landing beside his fallen mate. Now I already know what the range is, so all I have to do is click the elevation round. Again, I give him a good 3/4 of an inch for the wind and slip the shot. That's a good solid thump, but he takes off quite energetically, so I thought I'd wounded him, but he was literally dead on his feet. As you can hear, this put the rest of the birds into a bit of a tiz, but the buzzard seemed to be totally oblivious to what was going on. He's still not too keen on this crow decoy though. The hooded crows are starting to make a reappearance again. But with all that's gone on, they're getting a bit jittery and not giving you too much time to get the shot off. These two have really got themselves wound up tight. But I timed the shot wrong, and the bird just moved as I squeezed the shot off. I reloaded quickly again and missed the second shot. And would you believe that was the last pellet in the magazine? I've been taking a few shots off camera to try and get an idea how much wind to allow for, and now I'm out of ammunition. And while I'm busy reloading the magazine, the hooded crow that I wounded has moved off well across the field and quite out of range from the air rifle. As you can see, the rest of the birds have landed with him. There's quite a few in the area. I did try range finding them, but I just couldn't get an accurate reading for some reason. They must have been 80 yards or more across the field. So while I was contemplating my next move, i.e. leaving the hide and trying to retrieve him, a bird landed beside one of the shot birds. I couldn't let the opportunity go. After all, I'm here to try and control their numbers. And this time the shot went lovely. Centre hit, and the bird was dead in the wing. No running after that one. The only problem is, during the commotion, I lost track of the other bird. Now, if you've ever, like me here, unfortunately nicked a bird or dropped one that's fell out of sight, keep an eye on the other birds. See what they do. If they spot it from the air, they'll land around it or in the trees around it and give you a good indication where it is. Like here, I spotted the birds on the electric wires and the tree here, which give me a good indication that the bird I was looking for was on the ground in that area. Now, I couldn't see the crow from the hide, but while I was scanning for it, Mr. Buzzard returned, obviously to try and finish off the rabbit, and also a magpie. Now, I made a bad mistake here, as I didn't use the rangefinder to confirm the range, as from my perspective it looked as if the magpie was the same distance as what the crows were that I was shooting, so I give it roughly the same elevation. But as you'll see in a minute, it was a lot further away than what I thought it was, as you'll see the haze of the pellet hitting the grass below the magpie. Oh well, you can't get them all. Okay, time to find that hooded crow, as I don't like leaving things wounded. Thankfully he was in the field and below the electric wires. It did take a wee bit of running after him, but I managed to finish the job I started. Well, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, and the one I'm holding here that I had to chase across the field after, so that's 4. Let's have a look, see here. I can't really remember the order I shot these in, but I went for heart shots on them all. This might have been the 4th one I shot, and then I went for the chest on it. And this is the 1st one. That's definitely a shoulder shot I went. There's where the pellet went in there, into the heart. I had to give him almost an inch of wind. And then this is my bait. The rabbit has seen better days. The buzzard has been pecking away at it, and even the hooded crow I was using for a decoy got a fair round knock with the buzzard too, but it seemed to work rightly. My hide is over in there, if I can zoom in, and under that tree. And of course, once you've finished your day's shooting, tidy up after you. The farmers may be very pleased that you've shot the birds, but they don't want to see rotten corpses lying about their fields. Okay, I hope you enjoyed a wee bit longer video than usual. I know it's not the biggest bag in the world, but after a bit of patience and perseverance, it's 4 more crows than what I thought I was going to get at one point that morning.